Welcome to the Deep Dive, your go-to for cutting through the noise, really, and getting straight to the insights that matter. Today, we're diving deep into, that global cinematic showdown you hear about, Hollywood versus Bollywood. But it's far more nuanced than just like box office numbers, right? We want to get behind the headlines, explore the real story of these cultural powerhouses. It's not about declaring a winner here. It's about understanding their unique strengths, their storytelling traditions, and really their cultural weight.
Exactly. And our goal today really is to unpack what actually defines these massive industries.
Yeah.
How they've shaped global cinema, yes, but also how they reflect their own cultures. And maybe what you, the listener, can take away from their very different ways of making films. Think of it as a shortcut, maybe, to being well-informed. We'll throw in some surprising facts, some engaging bits, so you can appreciate the whole global film scene a bit more, maybe.
Okay, brilliant. Let's unpack this then. We hear the names all the time, Hollywood, Bollywood. But what are the real fundamentals? What truly sets them apart at their core?
Okay, well, let's kick off with Hollywood. When we say Hollywood, we're mostly talking about the global face of American movies. It's based in Los Angeles, obviously, and it's known for, well, gigantic budgets, super advanced technology, and this incredible international reach. They really dominate the global box office figures most of the time. Output-wise, you're looking at maybe 600 to 800 films a year. And strategically, they're heavily focused on global appeal, building huge franchises that can play anywhere. Financially, it's huge, around $11 to $12 billion every year just from the U.S. box office. And your average ticket in the U.S. is what, somewhere between $10 and $15?
Yeah. Right, a massive, globally focused machine. Okay, but then we pivot to Bollywood, also powerhouse, definitely, but it feels like it operates on a different scale, a different philosophy almost. Based in Mumbai, primarily Hindi language films. But you made a key point earlier, it's just one part of India's wider film industry, which produces films in like tons of languages.
Over 20 languages, yeah. It's important context. Bollywood gets the headlines, but India's cinematic landscape is incredibly diverse.
Yeah.
Now, Bollywood itself, the output numbers are just staggering. Over 1,000 films a year. Think about that volume.
1,000. It's hard to wrap your head around.
It really is.
Yeah.
And where Hollywood might focus on those global tentpoles, Bollywood's tradition is more centered on family entertainment. Lots of emotional storytelling and, of course, the music. That's maybe the defining feature for many people. It's rare to see a Bollywood film without, say, 4 or 5 big song and dance numbers woven right in.
Absolutely essential.
And the economics are fascinating, too. The annual revenue is lower, maybe $2 to $3 billion. But, and this is the kicker, they sell more tickets globally than Hollywood.
More tickets? How does that work?
It's the price point. Average tickets in India are equivalent to maybe $1 to $3. Much, much lower. So cinema becomes incredibly accessible. It's not a luxury item. It's part of everyday culture for a huge audience.
That's a really crucial difference. So it's not just about who makes more money, but who reaches more people more often. It's accessibility versus high revenue per ticket.
Precisely. It highlights totally different market strategies, different ideas about what cinema is for its audience. Hollywood is this global export engine, Bollywood as this incredibly accessible cultural staple, especially domestically and for the diaspora.
And the music difference is key there, too. You said it's woven in. In Hollywood, musicals are a specific thing, a genre. In Bollywood, it feels like music is just part of the language of film itself.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just decoration. It often drives the plot, expresses emotion. And the songs themselves become massive cultural phenomena, huge hits on their own. They live outside the film.
Right. So these basic differences in scale, economics, music, they shape everything, which naturally leads to the stories themselves. How different are the storytelling approaches?
Well, they diverge quite a bit, traditionally anyway. Hollywood really perfected the 3-act structure. Setup, confrontation, resolution. It's efficient. Audiences globally understand it, which makes sense for their international focus. And often, the stories center on an individual's journey, like the hero overcoming personal obstacles.
Yeah, the classic hero's journey. Whereas Bollywood, well, films are often longer, right? 3 hours isn't uncommon. And they often feel more episodic, like they weave together different threads. And you get that masala concept.
Ah, yes, masala, the spice mix. It's brilliant. You get action, romance, comedy, drama, musical numbers, all packed into one film. The idea is to offer a complete entertainment package, something for everyone in the family.
Which ties into the storytelling focus too, doesn't it? More emphasis on family, community. The hero might be fighting for family honor or societal good, not just, their own personal goal, like stories about big family reunions or navigating arranged marriages, sacrificing for the family, that kind of thing.
Exactly. That reflects a cultural emphasis on the collective, on family ties. The long runtime and masala structure cater to that idea of shared family viewing. It needs to entertain multiple generations sitting together.
It makes the film itself a kind of communal event. Interesting. But things are changing, aren't they? Hollywood isn't only doing individual hero stories now. Think about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's huge serialized storytelling. And films like Black Panther or Shang-Chi bring in much more cultural specificity.
Definitely evolving. And Bollywood is too. It's not just the traditional formula anymore. You're seeing films tackling really serious social issues, films like Article 15 or Pink or That Pad. Very powerful stuff. And they're also experimenting with shorter formats, more focused narratives sometimes, and the whole streaming explosion, Netflix, Prime Video, etc., that's shaken things up for both industries massively. Global access like never before.
So the story structures kind of mirror the societies, but both are definitely in flux, influenced by tech and global trends. Film as a living reflection of culture, constantly adapting.
Perfectly put. And it's not just the stories, it's the look of the films too, the technical side.
Ah, right. Technical excellence. Hollywood's often seen as the leader there, isn't it? Special effects, sound design, boundary-pushing films like Avatar, Inception, all the big superhero movies. Driven by those enormous budgets, hundreds of millions of dollars for a blockbuster.
Huge investments, absolutely. But you absolutely cannot discount Bollywood's technical skill and, maybe more importantly, its ingenuity. Look at films like Bahubali or RRR or Brahmastra. They are visually stunning, epic in scale. And they achieve this with significantly smaller budgets.
That's the amazing part. Even the biggest Bollywood epics might cost, what, $30–40 million compared to $200 million plus for Hollywood.
Exactly. It forces incredible creativity, resourcefulness in practical effects, innovative camera work, finding ways to make less go much further. It's not just about throwing money at the screen, it's about clever filmmaking.
And they're getting global recognition for it, too. RRR winning the Oscar for Best Original Song. That felt like a big moment.
A huge moment, a validation of that creative and technical excellence on the world stage. And we have to come back to the music and dance here, too, technically speaking. The choreography is often incredibly complex, a real art form. And the music industry itself is massive, with composers like A.R. Rahman, who won 2 Oscars, remember, for Slumdog Millionaire, achieving genuine global fame.
Yeah, it's not just background music. It's integral. The way songs push the story forward or reveal character, it's something Hollywood seems to be maybe learning from or leaning into more, like you see in The Greatest Showman or A Star is Born, where music is absolutely central.
I think so. It shows how innovation can blossom under different conditions, different constraints. It's not always about who has the deepest pockets. It's about how you use what you have. And this connects directly to how their influence spreads globally.
Okay, let's get into that. Global influence and where things might be heading. Hollywood used to dominate internationally, almost unchallenged. But that's shifting now.
Oh, definitely shifting. Bollywood films aren't just for the Indian diaspora anymore. They're finding really significant audiences in places you might not expect: Nigeria, Russia, Peru, all over. People are discovering these different kinds of stories, different aesthetics.
And Hollywood's noticing, right? It feels like the influence is flowing both ways now. More Indian actors in Hollywood blockbusters, Hollywood studios investing in Bollywood, co-productions.
Exactly. A real cross-pollination is happening. Hollywood wants access to the huge Indian market, and they recognize the talent pool there. And streaming has just turbocharged all of this.
How so?
Well, subtitles and dubbing are readily available now. Language is much less of a barrier. So a film like RRR on Netflix can suddenly become a massive global hit. Or think about Squid Game. From Korea, it dominated everywhere. Content from anywhere can theoretically find an audience everywhere now.
That does raise an interesting question, though, about authenticity versus accessibility. Hollywood sometimes gets criticized for maybe watering down stories to make them play everywhere. Is there a risk Bollywood might face similar pressure as it targets a wider global audience, diluting what makes it unique?
It's a valid concern and something the industry is grappling with. There can be pressure to homogenize. But I think what both industries are learning, or hopefully learning, is that authenticity often sells. Audiences, especially now, with so much choice, are often looking for specific, unique cultural experiences, not just the same thing repackaged. Think about the success of films like Parasite or Minari or Everything Everywhere All at Once. Very specific stories, but with universal themes that resonated globally. Or from India, films like The Lunchbox or Newton. They found international audiences by being authentically themselves.
So finding the universal within the specific cultural context, that makes sense. So looking forward, it sounds less like competition and more like
Collaboration.
convergence.
I think collaboration is the key word. More co-productions, more shared distribution, more talent exchange. They're also facing similar challenges, the competition from streaming giants, changing audience tastes, and the really crucial need for better representation, more diversity, both on screen and behind the camera. That's a conversation happening everywhere.
So in facing those common challenges, maybe they find common ground too.
That seems to be the trend. Less of a head-to-head battle, more of a complex global ecosystem where ideas and talent flow more freely.
Okay, so wrapping this up. What's the big takeaway for us as viewers? What does this all mean for the future of the movies we watch?
Well, I think the main thing is realizing that pitting Hollywood against Bollywood is kind of missing the point. They both excel, but in different arenas. Hollywood's global machine and technical mastery are undeniable. But Bollywood's emotional depth, its musical integration, its connection to family audiences that's equally powerful and important, we're actually in a fantastic era for global cinema. You, the audience member, have access to the best of all these worlds like never before.
I completely agree. The future seems less about competition, more about mutual influence and learning, which leads to a final thought maybe. What does all this cross-pollination mean for the stories we'll see, the faces on screen, the very way we experience films? Will these distinct cinematic identities eventually blend into something new, or will their unique flavors just keep enriching the global film landscape? Something to ponder next time you're scrolling through your streaming options or heading to the cinema. It's an exciting time to be watching.